let's begin with how did you start to work with this breed?
In the 90s, my family breed horses for show jumping, like sports with animals anyway. And in that farm that we breed horses, I always have dogs to protect the house. Some other breeds, German Shepherd, Doberman, and in the end of the 90s, Pitbull came to Brazil. It was like some fashion dog, the dog of the time, and I got some of these dogs. And I learned that Pitbull is not a good dog to have with horses because they have a very strong temperament, and sometimes we have trouble with that. And we start to do some sports with them. In Brazil, in the early 2000s, about that, there are lots of young guys with pit bulls, and they do not want to do dog fighting, you know, and start some different sports, alternative sports to do the dog, because we saw they have a very nice stamina, a very nice morphology. It's a very functional dog to do all the kind of activities. And we start to do some alternative sports. We have a park in Brazil. All the guys meet each other with the dogs and start to do some sports. My first contact with the dog is not as a breeder, it's as an owner and like a competitor in these alternative sports. I start breed about 2 or 3 years late because we saw some mixed dogs and we study about pit bulls, and we would like to have the full package of the breed, you know, because sometimes if you mix the pit bull, you lost some skills and qualities from the origin, you know. That's why I start to breed dogs, because I really want on that time the full package of the breed.
Yeah, I understand. So what does pitbull mean for you?
All my life I work with animals in sports, you know. First the horses, then the dogs. I think the pitbull is the excellence of an animal doing activities, doing sports. Because all the hard selection that the breed had in the past, I think this scenario of the original selection breed a dog very strong, talking about mind, heart, a morphology is perfect for sports, and I think pitbull really is really the excellence of an animal to do some sports. For many years I bred horses, and we are always looking for like a combination of body, mind, heart in the same animal. I think pitbull is this combination, is this package, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So when you have to breed dogs, to breed pitbull, what do you look for in a pitbull?
I think the biggest challenge we have in our generation is preserve all the skills and qualities the original selection did, you know. We know these qualities and skills were achieved because the scenario of the original selection was very rough, was very hard.
Yeah.
So we're living in a different world right now. We cannot do dog fighting. We do not support it, but we have the challenge to preserve and maybe in different ways in alternative sports. And I think that's the challenge. So my target is that preserve this quality and skills with alternative functions and sports, you know?
Yeah, into legal sports. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. And for you, what do you think is the best quality in a pit bull?
Lots of people talk about the qualities in the pit, in the dog fighting. I do not go on that way, because I think the original selection built a very fantastic animal, talking about mind, temperament, heart, morphology. Uh, and I think the best thing in pitbull is put all the things together in the same animal, you know? We have some fantastic dogs to run, to jump, beautiful dogs to show. I think pitbull joins everything in the same animal, you know?
Yeah, a really complete dog. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And would you change anything in a pit bull?
No, I I think I think this dog reached the perfection of a dog. Everything a man could expect from a dog, pitbull give to us, you know.
Yeah, totally agree. And so, as a breeder, okay, it's a question as breeder. What would you like to get in your breeding plan? Finally.
Um, the very the the good thing in be a breeder is that you are always searching for something. You are always getting better and learning and looking for some new things. I think in our situation as a breeder is a very new thing to breed a dog in this new sports, new kind of sports. And I think we are looking for do a good job respecting all the breed history, trying to keep all these qualities and skills and all the merits the breed got, but doing something new, you know? I think that's our target. Uh, Preserve, keep in all new scenario, all situation.
Okay, wait. Okay, so when you have a litter, okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. When you have a new litter, how do for looking for these things? How do you use to choose your puppy in a litter?
Yeah, I think this is the most important thing in a in a breeding program is to choose, make your pick in the litter. I think it's a very difficult question. Uh, we, as a conformation breeder and as a legal sports breeder, uh, we we always search a dog for his character, for his temperament, and some skills and drive you see in the litter. That's the first thing, because that's the the main purpose of the breed. So we look for breed good conformation dogs, conformation litter, and all. It's to make this task easier, you know, because the first thing we choose is the character, the temperament, the behavior of the puppy in the litter. I think that's the most important thing. But it's very difficult to choose, because
Yeah, I can imagine.
the puppy change. The puppy have the scenario of the brothers, the litter mates interacting with him. So it's very difficult question and very difficult task to do as a breeder.
Yeah. So if you breed with good conformation, you can choose better because you
Yeah.
only have to look at the temperament. Yeah.
Some people, even the people that breed for conformation, sometimes make this mistake. Pick the puppy by the conformation. It's not a good thing. You have to breed a whole litter with good conformation to let you choose by the behavior, the temperament, and the character
Yeah.
of the puppy.
Yeah. So you think when you look at a little puppy, maybe 2 months old, you can know how the puppy will be in a future. You can know the conformation in a future, or can it change?
Yeah, you have some clues. You have some things you can look for, and to give you some guide of about what should the puppy will be. But it's very difficult. I think we like to see the puppies with about 45 days to get some idea, because after that the puppy grows too fast, and sometimes grows not in a ordinary way. Sometimes they change too much. It's difficult to see on that age. I think 45 days is a good age to see how the puppy should be. About the temperament and behavior, it's a little easier because you are seeing the puppy interacting with their litter mates, and you can see the best drive, the best domination. You can see some things.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, so, well, after that, do you think you have already found the perfect pit bull?
No, I think the breeder, as if the breeder wants to stay breeding, you have to forget about the perfect dog. There's no perfect dog. The good side of the breeding is that the perfect dog didn't born yet. We will born in the next litter, in the next plan, breeding plan. I think the breeder must have this in mind, because if you find a perfect dog, you have some things to learn about dogs. The perfect dog
Yeah.
never exists. You are always getting better and searching for some things could be better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally agree. So, after talking about the pitbull in a general way, we are going to start to talk about sport, okay? Because
Okay.
you used to do a lot of sport with your dogs, and I really follow your work. So, well, which is your favorite type of competition at the sport?
Okay, we like all the competitions and all the activities, all the sports, but in Brazil we have some preference for wall climb and free jump, because this is our start. When we start to do sports with pit bulls in about 20 years ago, it was climbing trees, jumping fences, things like that, interacting with the park scenario. That's why I think Brazilians prefer the wall climb and free jump and sports like that. We have here like a long jump, similar than yours, but it's not with that sticks. With a
Uh,
bench, and the
yeah,
dog jumps in the bench and falls in a sand field. It's like the long jump as for humans.
yeah. In Europe, the common thing is with the sticks, but
Yeah,
in Spain,
yeah,
in Portugal, we used to do with the bench, and for me, it's
yeah,
more visual. This is more
yeah,
attractive.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's a little dangerous. This
totally
this
agree.
kind of jump. We had some troubles here in the past, and we are planning to change for your way to do with the sticks. We are discussing in Brazil. But
yeah.
talking about sports at all, I think all the sports are very nice for the breed, because each sport select some different kinds of temperament, some different kinds of morphology. Weight pulling is very nice because you train food drive, some prey drive, some drives nice for the dog. The jumps are nice because you make a selection by morphology. Some very athletic dogs, very with no fat. I think all the sports helps the conformation, because when you get a good morphology for sport, a good body type for sport, you probably will lose all the fat, lose all the heavy weight, the useless weight some dogs have,
Oh, yeah. Totally agree. Thiago, if in some moment you see, there are some people asking questions, if you want to answer to some question, okay, because I'm
Okay.
reading people asking questions. So, okay, talking about the sports again, when you are competing at the sport, what's your goal? What's your goal in a competition?
As I said in the beginning, we do sports with our breed because we like to preserve some qualities and skills from the history of the breed, the heritage of the breed. I think that the goal is that preserve and explore and maybe get better some skills and qualities the breed achieve with all the history, all the original selection. I think legal sports is a good way to preserve the breed. We talk a lot about that because we have some friends and people we talk in other countries that dog fighting is allowed. We are always changing this experience about how the breed is going with legal sports. If we could preserve some qualities and skills. I think it's the challenge of our generation. And the legal sports, I think it's a good tool to do that. It's a good way to do that.
Yeah. And nowadays is the only way to preserve the breed. Honestly, is the only way.
Yeah.
So, you used to compete in Top Dog in Brazil.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I stay too much in the breeding program. I do not have time by myself to do the trainings. So we have some friends, some professionals that do that with our dogs. So I go in the events, the sports events, but we have some professionals, some friends, some partners that work the dog to compete. I personally don't have too much time. I have some work outside of the dogs, So we have some professionals. If you follow our Instagram, you see we tag them sometimes. They are professionals that do obedience and things like that with dogs and train our dogs for the shows and sports events.
Okay, yeah. So in Brazil, you used to participate in ADBA, you or your dogs. ADBA is a typical organization in Brazil, as in Europe is really is everything in people way.
In the last year, we have the first sanctioned show here in Brazil. We don't have too much sanctioned shows, but we have in the last years some private clubs doing confirmation shows following UKC ADBA standard. Depends of the preference of the organization, but we have some private clubs doing shows. Last year we have the first sanctioned, and this year probably we will have 2 or 3 sanctioned shows. In the first one, We in the first one we have here in Brazil about 50 or 60 dogs in shows. Was judged by Mr. Hank Greenwood, and we in our kennel put some about 3 or 4 dogs in the show.
That's nice. Okay. And what do you think about weight pool?
Yeah, in Brazil we do not do weight pool because we have a very difficult animal protection here. They are difficult to understand what is that. So we had in the past some canceled shows because the animal protection asked the justice to stop the event because of the weight pool sport. They think we mistreat animals doing that, you know.
I didn't know.
We are now we avoid to do weight pulling shows because putting out of the events we can do the other sports, the jumps and everything. They have some problem, the animal protection group, with the weight pulling sport. But I think it's nice. I think it's a very nice sport. It explores some dogs' instincts, very, very, very important.
Yeah, I didn't know you had this problem in Brazil. I didn't know you had problem with. I thought it was only in Europe and in Spain, because in Spain they are really hard. But we do weight pool anyway. But and so how will it be your ideal perfect competition?
Yeah, we are looking for some kind of show that joins the sports and the conformation shows. I think that's the best scenario for the breed, for the breeders that stay in the legal side of the breed. We have to join and mix the things. I think the best dog is the one that wins the conformation show and wins the legal sports. We are working for that. We have some dogs that achieve it. This complete prize, you know. I think win the conformation show and the sports is the target of a breeder like us, you know.
Yeah. I
understand. So we are looking for this kind of event, this kind of show that joins conformation shows and legal sports. We are working for that.
Yeah, that's because you have all in one. Yeah. And so, what do you like most when you are at a sports show? Which sport?
We here in Brazil we have this situation. The sports are growing, the shows are growing, but we have lots of dogs with no pedigrees, with no, you don't know what have behind them. Talking about pedigrees. So the nice thing in the shows, in the ADVA shows, is join these people that have some unknown pedigree dogs to the ADVA system and give some knowledge to them about the next dog the person should buy. And I think it's a good way to get the breed better, you know, giving some knowledge, showing ways to do sports, to explore all the dog potential, all the dog skills, you know. I think that's the good thing of we are doing. You know?
Yeah, totally agree. Well, okay. Next question is: do you think that one pit bull can be good at all disciplines? Is this possible?
Yeah, I think that's the idea, to breed a dog good in all disciplines. I think that's the idea. Not only the sport, but in the conformation shows that we are looking for. I think it's possible. I always talk about that. Sometimes people ask me about dog protection sports. It's another kind of sport, and people could be a very nice dog for that. I agree that there are breeds that are better for that kind of sport. If you search for a German Shepherd, is a breed that had lots of years and decades of selection. But I think Pit Bull is the only breed that should do very nice all the disciplines, all the sports. If you put a Pit Bull to jump, it will jump. If you put a breed to bite someone, with training, with some training, you can do that. I think Pit Bull is a breed that can do everything you want. Sometimes you have to work harder in some discipline, but the dog will do that. Dog will do very well.
Yeah, I made this question because some people used to think, no, if you have a pit bull, you have to choose one discipline. You have to, or if you are going to compete, you have to prepare your dog for jumping, or you have to choose and prepare your dog for weight pull. So that's the question. If you can go to a to a single competition with a dog ready for everything, no choosing.
I think that choose one competition, one discipline, it's a mistake, and I will explain about it. Because if you breed a dog to weight pulling, only weight pulling, sometimes you can go, you are breeding to so much strong dogs, heavy dogs, It happens in the past. Totally. It happens in the past. If you read about Whopper and other dogs that do weight pulling, they became bulldogs, very, very burly bulldogs.
Yeah.
I think when you go to lots of disciplines, you have like a balanced dog, because it could not be too much heavy because you have the jumps disciplines. It not could be so fragile, so because you have the weight pulling, so you have to get some muscle. It's like you have to find a complete dog that do all the disciplines, and you have some balance with that. Not too much heavy, not too much fragile,
Yeah, of course, because it's easy to focus in just one thing, and okay, I'm going to prepare the dog for this, and the weight will be heavy for this competition, but you have to, if you go for everything, you have to really think about, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this.
Especially the conformation shows, because the conformation shows is where you will see if that body type is pit bull, because some guys dedicate very, very hard to jump disciplines, and sometimes you will prefer like a very tall dog, very skinny dog, and if this dog go to the conformation shows, it will not go well, So that's why I think the complete scenario, the complete disciplines, you should choose the complete dog. I ask for people, do every sport you could, every discipline, and go for the conformation shows. We have some people that don't like conformation shows, but on the conformation show you will see if you still breed a pit bull type,
Okay, now training. Okay, when do you used to start training your dog? How old?
Obedience and some treadmills, you can start with about 4 months old, 5 months old. Is not that problem. Some treadmill work, some obedience work, but when we talk about jumping and pulling, weight pulling, you have to wait about a year maybe a year and a half, because the dog is mature. You know, you cannot you cannot ask too much for a young dog.
Yeah,
Talking
of
about
course.
jumping and pulling.
Yeah, because otherwise the development can be, yeah, of course. And when you are training your dogs, okay, what kind of exercise do you used to do with your dogs?
The maintenance is on the treadmill. You know, we do treadmills 3 times a week, just to keep the
Mm-hmm.
dog in shape. But when we have a competition, we train on the equipment, and the wall climb. We train on the wall, jump, and we do some works like spring pole, fleet pole. I don't know if you use the same name in Europe, but it's like a prey drive train, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And, and which one do you think is the most complete for for working your dog? Because some people say flirpole, I don't know why, but a lot of people say flirpole. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
I think this kind of work, like fleet pole or spring pole, you train more than one thing. You train the prey drive, you explore the prey drive, and you are training the body of the people, the stamina. You know, I think they are very complete. But sometimes you have to train on the equipment, because you will see that on the day of the show, you have to train on the wall. You have to train on the post, about free jump. You have to train on the bench about the long jump. You have to get some equipment if you want to go to the show.
Yeah, of course. And okay, talking about food, okay, that's
Okay.
important. Do you give your dog some kind of a special feeding?
No, we choose a premium uh, dog meat, like
Kibbles.
yeah, kibbles. Yeah, we choose a good one, and we mix with some raw meat. You know.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is the quality of the water. I don't know in Europe, but in Brazil, we have some places with no good quality in the water. And for a puppy, for a dog, the quality of the water is very important.
That's a good point because I think in Europe we don't think about that issue. I don't know how it's in Brazil,
Yeah,
but
too much disease came by the water. You know, the quality of the water. It's
yeah,
a
of
very
course.
very important thing,
Yeah,
and most people don't care about it.
yeah, it's something really important. And well, that's an interesting question too because a lot of people used to think about how many rest days you used to take. You know,
It depends of the dog. If the dog is in the competition time, sometimes we train 3 or 4 days in a week, and the other
mhm.
days is rest and stay around the kennel, you know, the yard. We train about that 3 or 4 times per week in the dogs in competition. The dogs they are not in competition. The old ones they train 1 time for week, 2 time just to relax and spend some energy.
Yeah. It's an important thing. The rest days. So we are going to talk about shows. You used to
Okay.
go to shows to look for conformation dogs and well for you, okay, what is more important in a pit bull? What do you prefer in a pit bull? A good conformation or good skills at the sport?
Oh, definitely the skills are very, very important. But like I said, the confirmation is something that you must keep an eye on that, okay? Because sometimes if you think about only about the sports, you can lose the breed type. It's very easy to lose the breed type. That's why we have in the past the weight pulling bully dogs, because they focus on the sport and forget the breed type. I think the skills are very important, but you cannot lose the breed type.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay. Well, about not about conformation, but about attitude. Do you think dogs' attitude is something important in a show ring?
Yeah, definitely, because sometimes the dog is very nice in conformation, but the attitude, like not allow the dog to show himself, I think dog with attitude, dog is alert, dogs is sometimes barking with the other ones, shows better all the conformation, all the dog conformation. Sometimes the dog is relaxed, it's not in a good position, it's not good for the judge see all the angles and all the lines of the dog, I don't know if you're realizing what I'm saying, but the attitude of the dog helps the judge to see all the angles and lines,
Yeah, of course. You mean if one dog is like facing the other dog,
Yeah.
barking, that you can see, maybe you can see more the structure, you can see more the muscles.
Facing, very alert, sometimes pulling. Sometimes dog is pulling, all the muscles are show, when the dog is pulling, it's going ahead. I think it helps the judge,
Yeah, totally. And well, this question is a little bit polemic, but how do you think about a dog showing up human aggression in a show ring?
Talking about pit bulls, we can never tolerate human aggression. If I see a dog biting someone, sometimes once when I was in Italy, a dog bite me, but the owner told me he trained the dog for protection.
Okay.
Sometimes there is an excuse, but as a judge and as a breeder, we cannot tolerate that. If you train your dog for protection, you have to do a perfect train, because the potential of the breed is too strong. A bite of a pit bull is cause so much damage. So you have to train very well if you want to train a pit bull for dog protection. Otherwise, anyway, we cannot tolerate in the ring or in our breeding program any dog with human aggressive.
Yeah. I think we think the same. So yeah, and do you think it's good that a judge in the show ring, goes to the dog and touch the dog? Because I saw sometimes I've seen judges touching the dogs in the show ring. Sometimes not. Sometimes the judge is really far from the dog. But what do you think about that as judge?
Yeah, I think I think every judge has his method to judge a dog. In the UKC ring, is very common to touch the dogs. I think it's not a bad idea. Sometimes you have to check some angles and some lines that you are seeing from a distance. I think touch the dog, it's a method, it's a way to confirm what you are seeing from a long distance. I think it's not a bad idea. I respect all the kind of judges and all the kind of methods they use to see the best confirmation. I think it's not a problem. The problem is the sometimes the judge don't pay attention or don't don't give attention on any dog. I think it's not good because all the people it not depends of the quality of the dog, but all the people in the ring are expecting some feedback, some answer about what the judge thinks about their dogs, you know. So the only thing I don't like is when the judge don't pay attention or don't answer what the owner asks. I think the judge must pay attention in all the dogs and give all the answers the people in the ring ask.
So related to this issue, imagine if you are judging a show, okay, and you are doubting between two dogs, okay, conformation perfect for you, okay, good conformation, both of them, and you have to choose, okay, one of them. Will you choose, you know, thinking about the attitude of the dog for you know, for deciding?
Yeah, it's very difficult to find two similar dogs. You always will see some line or some angle different. But in case we have two similar dogs, I think the attitude should make the difference. You know, the attitude is a very important thing. I think sometimes is a thing the judge must pay attention, and in this situation of two similar dogs, the attitude must make the difference.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's an interesting, really interesting issue. And well, also about conformation. What is the thing you look the most in a dog? Okay, in a conformation sense. For example, does color matter in this decision?
Not for me. Sometimes color helps you to see better the dog. Sometimes dogs with too much white and brown sometimes confuses what you're seeing about the lines, but it's not a problem. A good judge will not confuse that, but some people outside the ring must confuse a dog from a long distance if it's a painted dog. But I think it's not a problem. I prefer solid colors. It's better to see the lines, to see the angles. But it's a personal preference. I think color don't matter. Okay.
And for example, I don't know if you have this category and if you used to do this category in conformation in Brazil, best in condition. You know,
some private clubs do that. Some clubs in Italy too, best condition, but it's not too common to do that. The question is, if the dog is not in a good condition, probably the dog will not win the ring. You know, all the dogs must be in good condition. Sometimes we see that category in UKC shows, because in UKC shows you see some dogs that are not in a good condition. In ADBA shows, I think it's not a difference, because all the dogs must be conditioned.
Yeah, it's a normal thing. So from my part, this has been all. Maybe we can because during the live, I was seeing some questions from people, but now I have to look for, you know, because
yeah, we have some Brazilians here. They are talking in Portuguese. But I have a question for you, because we have some friends here that asked me to do some questions for you, because in Brazil we are starting the ADBA shows. And in Europe, we are watching that you are very advanced on that. You have shows in every country. And how is that going on? All the clubs in Europe are talking to each other to make the calendar, to make the schedule. How you are doing that?
But you mean in ADBA, or you mean in...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in ADBA, I think ADBA is from USA. So the main the main organization is in USA. So they have to to talk with the different clubs, ADBA Poland, ADBA Germany, ADBA Spain, and they decide the schedule. They have to choose days to choose. For example, I want to prepare 2 conformation shows sanctionated, 1 weight pool show, and and that's the way we work. Okay, and in ADBA, but there are more organizations in Europe now. I think a lot of countries are developing some shows, fan shows. I don't know if you have fan shows. And for example, there's one really good organization, really interesting organization in France, who they do sports like Top Dog. It's like athletic disciplines, but for all dogs. You can compete if you have a Staffordshire. You can compete if you have a Malinois, and it's really interesting to. But there are a lot of pit bulls anyway, because at the sports shows there are a lot of pit bulls. And for example, in Spain, in Valencia, because I'm from Valencia, and I will say that in Valencia is really pitbull is a passion in Valencia, and a lot of people want to do things with pitbull all the time and want to go to shows, and now we are trying to organize some shows with we have created a new league. We called it the National League, and it's for all breeds, but it's all are pit bulls. And we do it's the name is Athletic Cane School, and we used to do like 3 no, we do weight pool, okay, we do treadmill race, and we also do wall climbing. And we have the first show in February. Was really a success, a completely success.
And you travel all Europe with the shows. You go to Germany because it's too long, about 2 days by car.
Yeah, I think the longest travel I've done is Poland. Poland was totally crazy. 24 hours driving.
Oh, and you have to go by car. There's no train or.
Yeah, we used to go by car because by car you can decide how many times you have to stop, and if you have dogs. For me, airplane and dogs, I don't like it. I don't like it. I prefer to have my dog in my car.
Okay, and it's normal in Europe. All the people go by car to the shows, or sometimes they use airplane.
Honestly, all people I know, they use the car. They never use the plane. I don't know why. Maybe it's also because of the price. You have to pay a lot for maybe 200 just for a dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we go the car.
Let me see if there is a question here in Portuguese, because we have lots of followers and friends that are coming here. Wait a minute. We do this live in English, but too many Brazilians don't understand, so I have to put on the YouTube, subscribe it, subtitled. Okay. Wait a minute. No, they are all comments, no questions. Okay, anything else, my friend, you want to know about us?
I cannot, I cannot hear you.
Is there any question more? Anything else you want to ask to us?
No, I was looking for, for the questions from the people. A lot of questions in Spain, in Spanish, but there are a lot, but I don't know now. Yeah, I don't know. So
You look, Portuguese is very similar to Spanish, but it's too difficult to understand, you know? Sometimes we prefer to talk in English than try Spanish.
oh yeah,
Do,
wait.
do you do you understand Portuguese? People
Uh,
talking Portuguese?
well, I've been in Portugal in one ADBA competition. I think Portuguese and Spanish can understand really really good. Eh? I used to speak with Portuguese people like doing that, but yeah. One question I'm reading one question, okay? Because you remember you say something about the water in
Okay.
Brazil. Why so important the water?
Uh, because in our cities, the water is like shared to all the houses, and the water passed to all the houses. And some disease for the puppies and the breeding came by the water. You know, some disease for puppies, and the quality of the water sometimes makes a very high difference here in Brazil. In
Yeah.
our breeding plan, we have like a natural source of water. I don't know how to call it. It's natural source from the mountain. It's a natural
Yeah, yeah.
water, you know. And lots of breeders in Brazil that breeds in the city uses the city water, you know, with some chemicals and some disease in the water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not clean, not clean water.
Yeah,
You mean, no?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One more question. Here, one person is asking. Okay. What do you think about UKC dogs? Talking about sports and character. What's
Okay.
yeah, maybe the difference or something like that.
In Brazil, when we start to breed dogs, our local club was like a UKC follower. You know, they follow the UKC standard. So lots of dogs, UKC standard, came to Brazil. We breed some time for that standard. And then the UKC, when they open to all the breeds, they lose their speciality in pitbull. They lose some influence here in Brazil. And ADBA came here with some dogs and some people that likes ADBA, and ADBA grow in the last 10 years maybe. So here in Brazil, we have a mix of UKC dogs and ADBA dogs. We have breeders that follow different standards. We have too much dogs from each standard. I think UKC standard is the oldest one. They describe the original fight bulldog, you know. ADBA, when they made their written standard, lots of decades after UKC, they describe a better dog, most competitive dog, modern dog, because we have like a difference of 50 years between the UKC standard and the ADBA. When the UKC standard was right, they are in the beginning of the dog fighting history. So they describe a bulldog, but not very athletic, not very with not too much skills than the ADBA described. The ADBA wrote their standard about the end of the 60s and describe a modern dog for sports. For sports, when I say for sports, for dog fighting, you know, that was the history of the dog. So I think the ADBA standard is better because of that. It's a most athletic dog with no useless weight. That's why I prefer. But I have to admit that there are lots of dogs from UKC standard and HBA. We have to respect them. We have to live with all this scenario. But I think, in my vision, that HBA should prevail, talking about pit bull breeders. Because of that, it's a more athletic dog. It's a better design of the dog for all the sports.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there are no questions, and yeah, that's everything. So if you want.
Okay. Okay, I have to thank you for that. If you have any questions, all your friends that are seeing the live could call us in our Instagram. We answer people from all over the world. Sometimes we go to Europe. I wish I could go in an ADBA show in the future in Europe, and maybe we can meet ourselves on that. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's been a pleasure. And one question: this is being recorded, this live.
Yeah. In the end of this live, you have to click to share. Okay. It will end in your Instagram for 25 hours. Yeah, that's where the people could download. Okay, but you don't forget to share when you finish the live. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because because I'm going to share this interview in Facebook, because here is my new account. So
okay, thank you very much, and sorry for my English. We don't practice too much English here, and sometimes we lose the words, you know.
yeah. So thank you, and I hope we talk soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good night. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, my friend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.